Your plumber is actually a walking reminder of a mass poisoning. Don't believe me? The word plumber comes from the Latin plumbum, which means lead. Yes, the Romans literally built their pipes out of poison. But that's not even the craziest part. While Roman men were slowly poisoning themselves with their drinking water, their wives were smearing that same lead all over their faces. Every day. Voluntarily. Talk about a look to die for. And if you think toxic face powder is bad, we're just getting started. Next up, perfume made from gladiator sweat, donkey milk baths, and a literal tax on urine. These aren't just weird myths, they're 100% historical facts. Welcome to the wild world of ancient beauty. Rome's beauty standard was pale skin. A tan marked you as a field slave. Women covered their faces in cerussa, white lead. The recipe? Lead shavings soaked in vinegar, scraped off as white residue. The result? Porcelain skin. And slow poisoning. Symptoms: hair loss, tooth decay, infertility, mental decline. Pliny the Elder knew it was toxic. He wrote about it in Natural History. Women kept wearing it anyway. For blush on top, they added minium, red lead, the same compound now used in anti-corrosion paint. A layer of powder, a layer of poison, a layer of blush. Also poison. That's how history's first 2-in-1 makeup kit worked. But where did archaeologists actually confirm all this, instead of just trusting Pliny? Roman baths had no soap. None. You rubbed olive oil onto your skin, then scraped it off with a bronze tool called a strigil. The mix of oil, sweat, and skin was called gloios in Greek, strigimentum in Latin. And it was sold. Pliny records gymnasium managers earning 80,000 sesterces a year from this waste. For comparison, a legionary earned around 900 sesterces a year. Scraped off grime from someone else's body was worth 89 soldiers' salaries. People didn't buy it for vanity. They bought it as medicine. For joint inflammation. For gynecological problems. The legend that women bought gladiator sweat as an aphrodisiac makes a great tour guide story. No ancient source confirms it. The real version is duller and stranger at once. People paid a fortune for a jar of someone else's grime, believing it still held the athlete's strength. So what were they really buying? Vanity or medicine? Poppaea Sabina, wife of Nero, bathed in donkey milk. Not a figure of speech. She literally sat in a tub of it. Ancient sources say she traveled with a herd of anywhere from 100 to 500 donkeys to keep the milk fresh daily. Pliny claimed the milk erased wrinkles and whitened skin, if you washed with it 7 times a day. 7, not 6, not 8. Ordinary Romans bathed differently. Apoditarium, changing room, tepidarium, warm room, caldarium, hot steam room, frigidarium, cold plunge. One trip to the baths meant 4 temperature shifts for your body. And the bathhouse toilet was a communal bench with holes in a row, no dividers. Instead of toilet paper, a sponge on a stick, called a tersorium, one shared by everyone. It was rinsed in running water between uses, presumably. That's the contrast of the era. Aqueduct-level engineering, and bathroom hygiene running on a single stick with a sponge for the whole room. So how did this same culture turn urine into a legal source of tax revenue? Rome didn't just dump urine, it was collected in jars on street corners. Launderers, full ones, used it to bleach fabric. Ammonia in aged urine cut grease and stains from wool togas perfectly. In 70 AD, Emperor Vespasian introduced a tax on collecting urine, the vectigal urinae. His son Titus publicly objected. How could you tax something like that? Vespasian took a coin from the first earnings, held it to his son's nose, and asked if it smelled. Titus said no. And yet, it comes from urine, his father replied. That's where the phrase, pecunia non olet, comes from. Money doesn't stink. It's 2,000 years old and reads like a headline about offshore accounts. The poet Catullus, in Poem 39, mocked a Spaniard named Ignatius for his gleaming white teeth. Back home in Celtiberia, he said, people brush their teeth with their own morning urine. So Romans themselves didn't consider urine toothpaste. They considered it something their neighbors did, and laughed about it. But they still washed clothes with it, paid taxes on it, and cracked jokes about it in Latin, 2,000 years before toilet humor hit the internet. Lead made your skin pale and your mind quietly duller. An athlete's sweat cost more than a soldier's yearly wage. Donkey milk traveled in herds, so one woman could wash her face 7 times a day. Today, you pay for a retinol cream and never think that in 200 years, someone will explain the etymology of your routine on YouTube. Beauty was never free. The poison just kept changing shape.